Hey first grade, welcome. Today we're going to be using tempera paint to paint with a paintbrush. You guys have been used to using objects like broken paintbrushes and cardboard to press on your paper to do printmaking. Now we're going to be doing some painting with a paintbrush. So you should have a pretty small paintbrush. This is a pretty good size. If you have a giant paintbrush, that is not going to work for this because we are going to be painting a tree with lots of branches. And if we use a giant paintbrush, it's going to fill the whole paper and we're going to run out of space. So we're going to use a pretty small paintbrush today. Now our artwork today is going to be wet. It's going to go on the drying rack. So the first step is to write our name with pencil on the back. Now it's going to seem like you can't see it because our paper is so dark. We're using a dark blue paper, but the silver from our pencil does show, so you can still see it. So I'm going to write Mrs. Hedgeheimer. I'm going to write room 11 or 19, whatever class I'm in, and flip it over. Okay, so our artwork today is going to be monochromatic. That means instead of using all of the colors, we're just going to be mainly using one color. Mono means one. So we're going to be making our trees today inspired by the winter, which is very cold and icy, and we're going to start seeing a lot of snow soon. So we're going to be using mostly just blue to show how cold our tree is during the wintertime. So you can use the blue that is already at your table to share with your neighbor, or you could make your own blue. So you guys have a messy mat under your paper. You can put your blue on your messy mat, and then once all the paint is off your brush, you can get a little bit of the other blue and you can mix them together. Or if you want it to be a little bit lighter, I'm going to get all that paint off my brush, and then I'm going to dip it into the white and mix the white in. So this is called a tint. Whenever you make a color lighter using white, you're making a tint. So I'm going to make a big puddle of this color that I like. Not too big. I'm going to get a little bit more of this light blue. Get all that paint off of my brush, and then I can scoop out some white. And then once I have a good amount of that, I'm going to start with my tree trunk. So I'm going to take the tip of my bristles and I'm going to tickle the paper to make a trunk. So I know trunks are usually pretty straight. So I'm going to start with a pretty straight line, and then I'm going to go back down and kind of fill it in with the paint that's on my brush. This is my tree trunk. Now it doesn't go all the way up to the top because I want to make some more branches up there. Yours could go towards the top, and that's okay. I can get a little bit more paint on my brush and make it thicker by going back and forth, making it thicker. A lot of times tree trunks are thicker towards the bottom because they grow from the bottom, and as they grow, they get smaller. So you could make it thicker at the bottom. Okay. So there is my tree trunk. Once you have your tree trunk, we're going to make some branches. So you might need to make a little bit more of your blue color. Try not to mix all the colors together in the container. Mix them on your messy mat. And then we're going to use the tip of our brush like a ballerina, dancing on its tiptoes to make a V shape at the top. So these are two branches that are coming out the top of my tree. Now these branches are thinner than the tree trunk. The tree trunk should be the thickest area because that's the biggest part of the tree. Once I have a V shape coming out the top, I know that trees grow up. So the rest of my branches are also going to be growing up. So instead of having a tree trunk or a tree branch go this way, I can add one that comes out this way and kind of goes up. So I can add one there. I could add one here, making sure that it's growing up. I could add another one here. And now it's time for the fun part. We're going to make our artwork fancy by adding even more branches that come off of these branches. So make a little bit more of the color you want. Make a little bit more of the blue that you want to use. Once you have a little bit on your bristles, we can add another V that comes out of the top of all of my other branches. So I have a V coming out of there, a V coming out of there, a V coming out of there, in there. So I know some artists who like to make their trees stylized. That means even though we know that tree trunks don't really curve and curl, you could make your tree trunks or your tree branches curve and curl if you want to. So to do that, you're going to use the tip of your bristles like this, get some paint on there, and at the top of one of your tree trunks, you can curl it down to make it look kind of fancy. Now that looks fun. Now you don't have to do that on all of your bristles or all of your branches, but you could do it on some of them to make it more exciting. This is called adding personal style. So we're no longer making a super realistic tree. It's a little bit abstract, and that is what artists do. We change things. So I'm going to make some curls on some of these. They could be big curls or just like little ones like that one. And I'm making a composition. That means I'm making the whole paper look interesting. So if I have an empty space, maybe I want to add another branch. So maybe I want to have one that comes out this way and curls. Or maybe I want to have another little one that comes out this way and curls. Maybe I just want a straight one that kind of comes off this way. So I'm going to look around my paper and decide where on my paper can I add more to make it more interesting. Once I have an interesting composition, that means the whole paper is interesting. A good artist knows when to stop. So I'm going to stop there. The last thing I can do is I can make another blue. Maybe it's a different kind of blue. Maybe this one's a little bit darker. Let's add some more of this darker blue. And I'm going to add the ground. So I might just start by just painting a straight line across the bottom, just like that. Mixing on my messy mat. And I'm just going to fill that in. Maybe towards the bottom, it's a little bit lighter. So let's add a little bit of white to make it lighter towards the bottom. So I'm going to go back and forth. And it's okay if I paint all the way to the edge, guys, because I have this messy mat to protect the table. Oh my gosh, I am almost finished. Good thing I wrote my name on the back of this, guys, because there's no way I'd be able to flip it over and write my name on the back right now. If you did forget to write your name, find an empty spot in the corner and you can write it really small with a pencil up there. So now that I have my tree in the ground, I'm going to stop there today. I'm going to put this on the drying rack, and next time you come in, we're going to be using white to add snow. I can't wait, and I can't wait to see what you created. I will see you later. Bye, guys.